All right, we're on.
Okay, we're going to start the meeting at 5:03. Heather's blessings for the present.
Wonderful.
Opens Meetings Act posted on the back wall. Call the roll.
Heather? Here. Dustin?
Yep.
Brad?
Yes.
Kent?
Here.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item, the consent agenda. You choose to approve them all with one motion or one at a time if anybody has any problems. Starting again.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Motion is second. Any discussion? Questions? Call roll.
Brad?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Dustin?
Yes. Okay.
What's your report?
We should make the mayor phone in. No, I did a mayor report. Oh,
Go. Ego.
For me, it's that we got the grant for the pickleball court and the pool lift. I don't know if anybody knew that, but now we're able to finish the pickleball court and the pool lift.
That's awesome.
So that'll be done, and zero city money was.
Zero money to the city to have all that done,
Yeah.
right?
Zero money out of the general fund.
Yeah, the general fund.
ABC.
The,
Oh, right.
Helped, but I'm not knowing.
But that was all done through local grants, so it's nice to see that hopefully we'll get it done.
So it'll probably be springtime before we have to do anything else with any of that, of course.
Probably, I think we're supposed to get the grant agreement like the week before Thanksgiving, so maybe next week. And then they'll mail the monies, so once we get the money, we
Great.
can kind of.
And that court's just, is it a snap down thing or is it
That's
tile that's
originally
glued?
what we had quoted, it wasn't like a snap.
So the NCDC applied for that grant, and who is the grant actually came through? Is that through the Game of Parks? Is that the one, or is that a different one?
So as a part of their grant agreement, they don't want public recognition,
Oh, okay.
so I can't name,
Right.
it's a private foundation.
Okay,
Send us
good
the
enough.
money.
Was the swimming pool just the chairlift, or were there more projects at the pool, or just the chairlift?
Just the
Okay.
chairlift.
So, progress.
Yeah,
Good deal.
that'll be great. Start setting up your pickleball leagues.
Yeah.
Right.
Get your stuff
I
bought.
told Ann I was gonna buy some stuff this next week.
All of us losers can start playing pickleball.
And throw our knees out.
I wish I could appoint somebody, but I don't have any appointments.
I bet Joe would like
Help
that.
you out as oldest.
No public hearing, old business. Discuss the proposal regarding ownership of property at 352 North Wilson. I think you have
Yeah, I've just kind of kept it on there since it's an ongoing item. We don't really have anything to act on tonight, but I did hear from Michael this morning, and he is working to get in touch with the property owners. He's got the documents drafted that he discussed at the last meeting. And so he's got it ready to go. He just needs to make contact with them. So it's moving. It's moving a little slowly, but it's moving.
We don't need table order anything.
Yeah.
Do we need table order, do we?
I've just kind of been leaving it on
Okay.
there. I don't think it has to be tabled. I don't have anything for you to act on.
All right, discuss and consider ordinance 1565 UTV.
I'll let Kelsey speak to it. I'll just give you the general background on the process. So, based off of feedback from the last couple of months, you guys have talked about and some different suggestions and requests that Rod had made to take a look at and different things. So this is the draft that we have with all of that in mind in front of you. So as a council, there's a couple of different things you can do with it. You can review it if there's something that you don't like about it. We can revise it and bring it back again next month. If you're satisfied with the draft, you can introduce it and read it for the first time tonight, or there's also the possibility that you could waive the 3 readings and adopt depending on what you do. I'll let Kelsey speak to the details.
Okay, so with the UTV ordinance, the changes that we made was the dry weight limit. Talking with Michael Scholes, under recent changes in state statute, there is no limit on dry weight, so he said that we can just take that out of the ordinance completely, because a lot of the newer UTVs that are being manufactured are heavier, so. And then with that, with the bigger UTVs that are manufactured these days, they sit taller off the streets, so the current ordinance of 5 feet from the ground may not be legitimately visible on the road, so we changed that from 2 feet, or no less than 2 feet from the top of the cab's roof, rather than 5 feet from the ground.
For flags?
Yes. Yep, the triangular shape and flag and all that still stays the same, 30 square inches and below. Also, another change we made is when one or somebody comes in to license or register their UTV with the city, we are now going to require the UTV to be present to be registered. That way we can, somebody in the city can do an inspection to ensure that that UTV is in compliance with codes such as working headlights, taillights, the flag is in place as should, and all that. As far as the operation hours, because it is state statute, we cannot change that. I did talk with Michael on that, and with the exception being snow removal. So because of state statute, we cannot make changes on the time frame of operation. What else with UTVs? Minors, anyone younger than 19 riding an ATV has to wear a helmet approved by the lawful operations of motorcycles. And with UTVs have to have manufacturer installed seat belts, and anyone under the age of 19 has to also wear a helmet. Because considering these are terrain operated, vehicles rather than an actual vehicle itself. So I think with the UTVs, that's all what's really changed. And then while working with the UTV ordinance, I also added in adjustments for the bicycles, because now that e-bikes and foot scooters are a very common, popular thing in our community, I did add an ordinance into that. And just with the electric bikes, they're classified under 3 different classes, just on their operations of battery usage, how high their watts are and stuff. And with those being operated at night, they have to have the reflectors, and if they're operated on the highway, they have to have their brakes and all that. The foot scooters, I do often see kids ride those in the streets. They are required that they do have to stop at halt at intersections that do have a stop sign. I know myself have almost encountered a wreck with a kid crossing an intersection at a stop sign. Also, they have to maintain on the right side of the road when a vehicle is behind them or passing. So there's that. my thing got cut off, but under section 4-304, my paper got cut off, I'm sorry. It says that unlawful for any person to ride or use or operate a bike or a scooter in a careless manner, and all that stuff. So, you know, if kids are being rambunctious and not complying, I mean, they can be in trouble for not operating those in a safe manner. So that's kind of what I worked on this last month. Does anybody have any questions?
Like on this, since you're the court enforcement officer, and you see a violation, how are you gonna be able to handle any of these violations?
Like with adult or
Or
children?
any of them,
operating?
yeah, or any of them, say you see a UTV, ATV, and it don't have a flag on it. And it's going, and we know we already talked about you can't pull them over, you don't have the authority to pull over.
Right.
So how you think, have you thought about how,
Yeah, so small community, a lot of people know each other, so, I mean, if I know the person, then I can easily contact them, or I could, I wouldn't say harass, but follow to a stopping point where the UTV may be traveling to and talk with them after they get parked. So that's about what I can do as far as UTVs, as far as speeding or driving in a reckless manner kind of thing. I mean, because it is considered, say, traffic violation, and, you know, if I have to consult the sheriff's office. But if I see compliance on a UTV as far as flags and stuff like that are operationally used, then I'll address it to the known operator. If I don't, not sure who the operator is, then I can follow them to their destination if there is a stopping point in city limits. And
Since
city
that's
limits
a-
being the key word there.
Right. Since that's a city ordinance, though, would the sheriff's department even enforce it? I mean, there's state statute on if they run a stop sign or do anything like
Or
that, but
speeding
if
and
it's an
stuff like that.
ordinance,
Traffic violations, they have to. but-
traffic violations,
Yep.
but not an
No.
ordinance.
No,
that's what I was wondering, that's why I was asking her why, you know, how is she gonna handle it, because she'd be the one that's gonna be
But I-
handled.
sorry, I will say, I know it's been a question or concern, it's been discussed in the past, but UTVs operating down 4th Street here, is that legal or is it not legal? So I did consult with Michael on that, and it is legal under state statute for say, because 4th Street, AKA Highway 20, is not a controlled access highway. So yes, UTVs can be operated along 4th Street.
And the city limits.
And Main Street.
Yes, because it's not a controlled access highway.
Just in the city limits?
I think that's in general.
Yeah, but for say in the city limits, they're the same, the speed limit, headlight, taillights, flag.
Yeah, Michael basically said controlled access highway would be more like interstate, freeway,
Okay.
multi-lane.
So they can go outside city limits and go, if they want to go out,
The way that-
Destin's place on that, they're legal to do that.
The way that I understand.
Not really.
That's what I was wondering,
It depends on, you'd need an attorney to define access controlled highway. Because the state of Nebraska, I talked with Mark Kovar today, the state of Nebraska generally, a mile outside the city limits, purchase and control the access. That way they don't have people just putting in drives wherever they want, you know, on farm ground or whatever, so
So that makes it
that,
controlled?
well, in another way, it is controlled access, so you'd need verification on that as far as, normally controlled access, like going onto an interstate or freeway or something like that.
Well, at least within city, anyway, within our jurisdiction.
Well, I can't remember, yeah, because I thought it wasn't. There's a lot of traffic on Highway 20 and 7.
I had always thought you could
Yeah, I
cross,
thought
but you couldn't
Yeah.
get on it.
that's what I was always thought too.
So.
As it is, the way your ordinance is written, you will eliminate usage by probably 99.9% of the UTVs in town to be legal. Because it requires a flag at the rear of the vehicle. My UTV has no place to mount it, I don't have a bumper So I don't have any place to mount it back there. Mine mounts to the rear of the cab, and then I still have the box and that type of thing. So as written, most of them wouldn't be legal.
Now, it just says a flag here where I'm.
And it says at the rear,
It doesn't just say the rear.
second line
Rear of
towards the
said
end.
vehicle.
Yeah.
So we need to tweak that a little bit.
And then you come down to the old adage of age. You can vote and die for your country, but you can't drive a UTV without a helmet. You know, back in my day, that was used for the age limit for drinking. You know, you could vote and die for your country, but you can't have a beer. They did drop it to 19 at that time, and now it's back up to 21. 19 might be a little excessive.
Personal notice, or personal information on that one.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure we could probably, I mean, my opinion is I'm sure we could probably adjust that a little bit through the,
Attached behind the cab.
and I was probably the one that probably brought that up, and because of being right behind the cab and only being on top of the cab, you never could see them.
Right.
But if you had it at the back of the cab and about the same height, then you'd be able to see them. And I maybe was the one that kind of pushed towards the back of the cab. As long as, to me, as long as it's 2 foot above the highest point, so people can see them,
Yeah, it's so visible.
visible, yeah.
Visible from the rear.
Yeah, visible from the rear. I think I'd probably be, myself would be okay with that.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
All angles,
yeah, visible from all angles, so yeah.
or all sides.
Is that flag thing a state statute, or that's just kind of everybody hung their hat on that and started having it? It seems like you see it a lot of places.
It's in the state
I was gonna
statute.
say.
It is.
Yeah, 5 feet from the ground.
It's so big.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good. We can change that.
You know, the helmet, we could maybe reduce that a little bit.
What, like 16 or something?
I'd say,
State statute also, though.
Yeah, Michael kind of tied that age limit in with what the state law is, because we discussed that, and I addressed.
you
like-
did, okay.
Mhm.
Because I was pushing for 12 and under is what I would.
And I brought that up to him.
And that's what I
but-
suggested.
So the state probably does that because these are powered, even though some, like those electric bikes or scooters.
Yeah, so the helmet then applies to the electric scooters also.
If you're under that age, that's gonna be.
Oh, it doesn't.
It doesn't think about helmet and scooters, does
Yeah, it
it?
doesn't say anything on the scooters.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Helmets are just on them.
How much
They're
is
just-
it?
ATVs.
ATVs.
And UTVs.
Yeah.
I don't think there's nothing
Oh,
under
yeah.
the bikes.
Crack your head all you want on a bike or scooter.
State statute doesn't require it for a bicycle. and
No,
tricycle.
we don't want to go there.
No, because all those scooters around.
Okay, when I kind of did my research on the other Nebraska town ordinance as far as scooters, I'm just looking back at my notes here from a couple months. When I looked under Lincoln per se, does it have legal requirements for riders of any age to wear a helmet? They just strongly encourage it. So we could, do something.
It's not required by statute.
So if we do this change tonight, I mean, do we still do a first reading or?
It's up to you. We can make that revision and bring it back, and then you can consider it in December, or if you wanted to move forward, you could move forward with that exception in mind.
I'm
It's kind of
kinda-
up to you
I'm
guys.
kind of for like making the change, or at least waiting 1 month, in
Bring
case
it-
we
bring
get
it
some
back.
feedback.
And then if we have any
Then
more feedback, we can.
Next month, probably go forward.
So the feedback, or not feedback, the changes we're thinking about making is the rear of the machine, but not the rear, or the rear of the cab on the flag, but still being 2 foot above the highest point. And then, are we gonna change the helmet to,
We're gonna look at the, check on the helmet thing for state, right? See if we can allow
oh,
that.
that's right, that was the
Make sure
state
it's
deal.
not a
Yeah.
statute.
Make sure it's not a state statute.
And if it's not, what do you think?
If it's not a state statute, I would agree with 12 because, you know, you already got people at 16 years old, they're driving vehicles and stuff like that. Yeah, this is a different than a vehicle, if it's not a state statute. That'd be my opinion. 12 and under.
Like 15 and
Whatever.
15. I'm
Just
okay.
Hammer out, find out.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree,
you're-
I agree, maybe
you're old enough to
19,
drive.
I agree 19 is a little excessive because he's already graduated from high school already. They're adults.
What's the motorcycle law?
Motorcycle law, you have to
I mean,
you have to take a test and a driving course.
you can opt
Yeah,
out,
so
but
it'd be,
can minors do that?
21 and under, 21 and over can, under 21 cannot.
Right.
So we may find, we do some research, that you can opt at least state statute.
I think that's if you have a license, but of operators can't under the age of 19. We discussed that.
You'll check in on
Okay, we'll check on those and see if we can come up with some better language and we'll bring it back.
But thank you for that, I think you did a very good job on what you got here so far. I appreciate it.
Need to table this one.
Yeah,
You're not gonna, it was not a first reading.
it's not a first reading.
Okay, I move that we table ordinance 1565.
I'll second.
Motion and second, any other discussion for this one? Hopefully we'll have some more input and adjustments done by next meeting. Call roll?
Okay.
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Subdivisions. Consider request for subdivisions on tract of land located southeast quarter of the southeast section 26, township 30 north, range 22 west, of the 6th.
Brian.
I can make up. What are we talking about?
So we've done several of these administrative subdivisions in the past. The way the code is written, it's anything within our zoning jurisdiction, including the 1 mile. These are within the 1 mile, so they're actually outside of city limit, but Todd has prepared the documents here, so they're standard form is like what you've seen in the past, with the revised legal descriptions and revised legal surveys here. So it's taking one large parcel, splitting these two smaller parcels off and away from that to create 3 parcels, which is the limit. You can have it in an administrative subdivision.
So this makes 3, the big one, and then these 2, or they could add.
Right, so this process is,
And this is just procedural, has to, yeah.
you have to review it and according to code. I don't know if anybody has any questions about these.
No, but I feel sorry for the surveyor, because things sure aren't straight.
All right.
Line like this, like this. Is that the way it's been forever? Is that where the fence is?
No, actually, it was worse than what the surveyor did, so.
When I opened this up, I'm going like,
That is
oh
square
my gosh,
around,
can't they
you know
make a
what I'm saying?
square corner?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it, it's basically got one house and then another owned by the business there.
And the uses, I think, are probably continuing as they have been, I'm assuming that.
Pardon me?
It's zoned commercial through the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll look just like it does now.
Yeah.
So, what is actually our wording?
So if you choose to approve this, probably two separate motions, approving track A, one approving track A, one approving track B.
Okay.
And then before you guys get away tonight, the document, so it can be filed in court.
So, anybody want to jump in, or I'm sorry?
Well, you do a good job.
Thanks. I move that we approve a request for an administrative subdivision of the following described real estate in a regular tract of land located in the southwest quarter of the southeast quarter of section 26, township 30 north, range 22 west of the 6 p.m. Brown County, tract A, 1.438 acres.
Second.
Motion and second, any other discussion? Call roll.
Heather?
Yes.
Dustin?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes. Okay, I move that we approve an administrative subdivision of the following described real estate or irregular tract of land located in the southwest quarter of the southeast quarter of the section 26, township 30 north, range 22 west of the 6th PM, Brown County, Nebraska, tract B, 1.088 acres.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any questions, discussion?
Dustin?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
If you did one, not the other.
And
Okay.
if somebody comes in
You have
40
somebody
years and
else.
wondering why the lot line was like it's, I had nothing to do with it.
Thank you.
Nice to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's not my fault they pulled it on a curve.
Discuss and consider the results of the traffic.
I don't know if you remember many months ago, there was, I think Todd Flynn might have been the one that made the request originally to do this speed study basically on the south and east ends of town. And the state said that they would do that, providing that the city supported that. So we had sent a letter asking them to please go ahead and do that. So this is the basically the result of that study. It's, I just wanted it to be a matter of record that we received that back from the state. And the summary of that letter basically is that according to the study that they conducted, they're not proposing to make any changes on South Highway 7. They are suggesting that the study supported extending the existing 35-mile-per-hour zone east along US 20, starting basically 1,200 feet east of Hunt Street, and that they'll relocate the start of the 45-mile-per-hour zone another 1,200 feet down the road, so 2,400 feet from Hunt Street. Hunt Street would be
Just on the west side of Casey's.
yeah,
Oh,
between
okay.
Casey's and,
So I'm just trying to get
Post.
my
Is it moving it that far? That's not very far.
They're not moving very far.
They're not moving it very far.
I was hoping they'd move the 35 past the dump turn and then move the 65 past the church.
No passing zones, and I got axed.
Yeah,
Well, I was hoping at least for the 45 to the dump turn. But
yeah.
They don't sound like they're moving.
I mean, we really don't know what to say, so I was kind of disappointed in the study myself.
So do we have to wait for this to be all before we put our signs up then?
Yeah, so the other implication is that, the speed signs that Tracy Booth has been working on for us.
It's gonna be where
They were
they're
gonna be
located.
hung on the 45-mile-per-hour signs, so. She has the signs, I understand, so we're just waiting to complete the DOT right-of-way permit and.
But don't we have to do anything for that one going east, though, do we have to make a?
We're gonna have to have an ordinance.
Yeah, according to this letter, basically they are thinking it needs to be amended. I need to visit with Michael about that.
It's not nothing we do tonight then.
No,
Okay.
This is just more information.
Okay.
So make sure she doesn't put the east speed sign up.
Yeah,
But
and
she
I've
can
talked
put
to
the south,
Tracy,
okay.
so she knows.
Put the west one up too.
I was gonna say no changes on the west end.
So yeah,
Yeah, I'll go-
Tracy's aware.
I'll say too, I mean, I agree with Brad. I guess that's the way it works, but that's a pretty plugged up zone out
Yeah, I was hoping to go the 45 past the church.
Then they would dang sure have to have that flashy sign, cause I'm not used to it.
Yeah,
there. Funerals and Sundays can get pretty dicey there,
Well,
and the dump turn.
that dump,
that's
so
had a history.
we're still gonna be 65 going past the dump. I mean,
Yeah.
they got to really get on it to get 65
But
past the dump, but that
coming in,
intersection's terrible.
coming in from the east, they're still clocking along, especially if you're not from the area. We don't have any recourse to say, hey, we'd really like you to reconsider.
I think it was tough enough just to get
Not
the
that
study
I'm
we did.
aware of. I mean,
Even though you're adding to my commute time, the other thing that's in Dustin will tell you this, you get those days with heavy fog.
Oh. it's a
And where
bad
we
area.
live, it is white knuckle it and floor it coming out of the driveway on days of heavy fog, because when you can't see,
Rodney
that
Brooks
traffic's
got
high, that
something
traffic's
going.
65 and you're coming out onto the
Well,
highway.
it's
It's
sucks
like,
for us
all right, I
because
hope nobody's coming.
if we come into town, they finally, just right at the church there, that no passing zone stops. And so I don't know how many times I went to pull out, cause you look east and not really west, and you know, doesn't affect you. And next thing you know, you pull out, start pulling out, somebody's passing.
Somebody is passing.
And it's usually like they're passing a semi, and you can't see that there's anybody behind the semi. It's,
the only recourse is to start annexing property.
Yeah, there we go. Now, we can do something.
Yeah, go
And
ahead,
then
city
we can
limits.
control the city limits.
You want to be in
We're
the
gonna put
city
you in the
limits?
city limits out there, and then we can move the speed zone.
God, no, I don't wanna be in the city. I'll do like my colleague did out at Gordon. He didn't like the Gordon School District, so he picked up his house and moved it into Cherry County.
Well, let's take what we got and get a new ordinance out.
Right,
That excellent,
yeah.
And that was.
So you'll have to pass an ordinance with that change?
And then
Well,
it's-
that's what
and then-
they're claiming.
and then-
I have not.
Then they'll authorize it and update the signs. So we've got to do our part, and then it goes back to them, according to what this
Yeah, we'll
paragraph
work.
says.
Work with Michael on that too for December.
Oh, and they also recommended removing that school zone.
And we don't have, yeah, we have not been using that beacon, the mobile beacon.
But, so, it's 35 through town?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And the state says, since you got flashing lights, we need to take that 25 out of the ordinance though. The way I read this.
Well, there is no one in use to suggest that it needs to go down to 25, so. I mean, I guess if you really want to clean it all up, then yeah. it's-
Well, I mean, do you think we need to, or? You don't have any signs up that say 25? Okay.
That's why I said we're not using that mobile.
Unless someone came after you and said, hey, this person was going 35 and your ordinance says 25, and you didn't do anything about it.
But it also says when it's flashing in the school zones that you don't
Yeah,
have
let's,
a light flashing in there.
I don't have everything anymore.
okay, as long as our ordinance doesn't leave us open for something that, otherwise
I mean, we'll
I'd
have-
take it out.
We'll have Michael.
Okay. I'd remove it if it would leave us open.
I'll share with you.
Okay.
I wish those crossing signs were a little bit better lit when
You're
they
not the first
light up.
person that said that.
They are.
And you see one lane will stop and wait,
They need to be
and the
around
kid, most of the kids are good, they wait, make sure both lanes have stopped, because you'll have one lane stop and wait, and the other lane, two vehicles will go by before the third one stops, so thankfully, every time I've seen that, the kids have waited till they make sure both sides have stopped, but
In my mind, when I first saw it, I thought maybe it was just like, I'm entering the school zone, slow down. And then you're like, oh,
Well, because it used
That's
to,
a crosswalk.
I mean, we used to have,
Gotta stop.
Yeah, I gotta stop, whoops.
we used to have those.
It needs to be like a red flash.
It needs to be
stop sign,
something, yeah.
Like something different, like
Stop and go, because usually yellow means caution, slow down, you know,
Yeah.
the red would be stop.
But again, that's not our decision.
The state put them in when we did that.
We gotta maintain it if somebody hits it, but we don't
Yeah.
get to choose.
We found that out.
Yeah. Nice.
That's fun. Okay.
Moving on. Consider recommendation by the LB 840 Road Committee.
So we had 3 applications this time around. The first one, 2506, was actually one that the loan committee had looked at in October, and they had tabled it for some more information. And the applicant got back with the information that the loan committee requested. So this is for a facade along Highway 20. It's for the Brown County Historical Society. And they are recommending to approve it up to that $9,309.07.
And waive the fee.
Oh, and thank you. And because it's a nonprofit organization, loan committee is recommending to waive the $100 application fee on this one as well.
I'll make a motion to approve application number 25-06 facade in the amount of $9,309.07 and waive the application fee.
I'll second.
Motion and second, any discussion?
Brad?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Justin?
Yes.
Okay, the next one is also a facade application, and it is for Northern Plains, 2 signs to be put up on their new building along Highway 20. It is outside of the city's jurisdiction, but the LB 840 plan does allow considerations to be made if whatever entity is providing a noticeable economic impact to the city. And so the loan committee reviewed that and had determined that it did qualify. So they are recommending the $5,316.91 for half of the cost of the sign.
I'll make a motion to approve application number 25-08 facade in the amount of $5,316.91, and they have to pay the application fee.
Nice.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Kent?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Dustin? Brad?
Yes.
Okay, and then finally, the third application was actually a business loan request. It was sort of for an acquisition of an existing business. $500,000 loan committee reviewed the application in detail, talked with the applicant, and basically at the end of the day, we just don't have $500,000 in the fund. Cash balance, there's basically right at around $500,000, but you have about 105 or 106,000 earmarked for other approved projects that haven't been paid down. So basically, there's not enough there. So the recommendation is to deny based off of.
So do we need to even move that, or?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You have to accept. You can move to accept or not the recommendation.
I'll make a motion to deny application number 25-09 business loan in the amount of $500,000.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any discussion?
Heather?
Yes.
Dustin?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Kent?
Yes.
consider resolution 2509, the signing of the year-end certificate of the city superintendent for 2025.
So this probably looks super familiar to most of you that have been on for a little while. We do this every year. This is just a confirmation, basically, at the end of the day, that we did have an appointed or contracted city street superintendent, preparing our 1 and 6 and our lane mile reporting and all of that for us. And then this is kind of used as a basis for us to receive that $3,000 incentive payment from the state that helps offset the costs associated with that work. And so this is just, again, affirming that yes, we have Lloyd Smith working on our behalf during the year of 2025. And that he is a licensed street superintendent. So, someone
That's
would feel
all?
inclined to,
Okay, I move we approve resolution 2509 to approve the year-end certificate of street superintendent 2025.
Motion and second. Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Dustin,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
All right. Ready for me?
Yep.
Discuss and consider the master agreement for the professional services with Olson's to include on-call services requested and street superintendent services for 2026.
So this is looking forward again, January for the year of 2026. I guess I'm asking you, the council, to consider that the city contract with Olson to provide those street superintendent services next year. So there's a couple of contracts in here. Basically, I've taken a kind of a quick poll of some of our surrounding communities to see who they're using for their street superintendents. Most of them, I think everybody but one, maybe came back and said they use their appointed engineering firms. So I did reach out to Jess then and kind of discussed with him. And I think Neely and Valentine both contract with Wilson. I think Atkinson and the JER. Anyway. So this is just I guess what it would look like if we wanted to do that. There's a master agreement here. Under statute, there's a couple of things in their rules and regulations about engineers when it comes to cities. I don't know if it's the same for counties or not, but you can have an appointed city engineer, and you can consult with them on various city projects throughout the year. Fine. If you don't have an appointed city engineer, you basically have to RFP everything, which is what we've done in the past. We have not had an appointed city engineer. We've put requests for proposals out for everything we had questions on, any projects we wanted to do, even planning projects. And they submit their proposals, we score them, and we select a firm, and then that firm, bids the project. So basically, what Olson is suggesting, to have them as our appointed street superintendent, since they are an engineering firm, there's an agreement in here basically that allows for them to be the appointed city engineer, and then there's a separate agreement for them to perform the street superintendent services not to exceed $3,000, which is that incentive payment amount that we receive.
So that's a wash.
It's
So-
kind of a wash. The
Wow.
other agreement is like up to $10,000 if you consult with them on various things. They bill you as you consult. If you don't request anything of them, they don't bill you.
So with that, we have them do it, they do a study for us, or we go off the recommendation. And is there any, do they stand behind any of that in case something doesn't work out, or they gave us bad information or something like that?
I would hope so.
I mean, I hope so too.
Because, I mean, you'd have all of that in writing.
Okay.
So for example, like, we need to move a culvert, and need a little engineering done. Olson's is just ready to go, you don't have to do a request for proposal.
Right.
But if we want to do a major project, we can still
You
go
can
out
and there are other-
select from several engineers if we want to do that.
Yes, it's kind of more
It's
just
not
the
tying our
the
hands.
consulting
Yeah.
work. If you're doing a major project, there's still other regulations in place that if you're spending a certain dollar amount, you still have to bid it. So I mean,
Okay.
it's not like you're kicking out, bidding opportunity. This is more, you just have random day-to-day type questions.
But you
where
need
a
some
little bit of
engineering work
input, yeah.
Okay.
When's the last time anybody other than Olson's handled any engineering work for us? It's,
We
trying to
use
think
Miller,
back.
Miller and
Yeah,
Associates for the swimming pool
Swimming pool, okay,
and the park.
gotcha.
We had JEO do our sanitary sewer study back in 2016.
It's mostly Olson's, but there's.
But otherwise, I think it's always. been
Street
us.
stuff, it's mainly been Olson's.
Well, and it's tough because when you get into those scoring, a lot of, you have your brackets of, this category is worth this many points, and it's always your prior history and work experience. And so if you've done a lot of projects for the city already, you're going to score higher than somebody who hasn't. So it's, makes it kind of tough for anybody else really to come
And
in.
Lloyd's getting out of the business, or just, you just ready to do something different? Okay.
But the street superintendent portion, they're agreeing to with not to exceed 3,000.
Correct. And basically, most of the street super work is the one in preparation of the 1 and 6 plan, and then they file it out and create those documents, and then the lane mile reporting, so they create, calculate all the lane miles.
Yeah, it is. And we don't even really do anything.
Right.
So, just asking you to consider that. Do you have any questions?
I think it sounds good.
Yeah, I do too.
Especially to have somebody like that for something minor.
Well, and Jess said he is actually a certified street super. I don't know if that's who we would end up working with, or if it would just be somebody else from Olson, but anyway.
Check with that, Lisa, because I know for the county, there's a difference in payment level between a Class A and a Class B, so I don't know if that's the same for the city, but if they have a Class A,
Jess said he has a Class A. and
okay, you
that's
might
what
check with
Lloyd
that,
is.
because like I said, the county, I think, got double the incentive payment from the NDOT by having, Kenny's a Class A. And so I think they got 9,000, and it would have been 4,500 had they had a Class B. So you might just check and maybe I don't know what Lloyd was, but
He was an A.
he was an A, so maybe that probably won't change. It must just be 3,000 for you based on your lane miles and
It's
things.
probably more for counties, they have a lot more ground to cover.
They do, yeah. Yeah, I just knew, because they just did the same thing, and I didn't realize it, but there was a difference in their payment from the NDOT based on whether they had an A or a B license, so.
If you agree with this, I guess, we probably need a motion to sign the agreement.
It's not, it's just some council still 3,000, not the 10,000, right?
Yeah,
Unless we move it.
which it really isn't much different than what we've been doing. I mean, every once in a great while, I will call Olson and ask them to help me puzzle through something, and we get a bill, usually per hour.
It just takes out that request for proposal part, that if we gotta move on something, like a lift station, we go down maybe or something.
Or like.
I like the drainage.
The drainage.
ditches,
Yeah,
or-
right.
That would be like the most recent.
But if something comes up and you need something done right away.
So that other agreement would just be billed on an hourly basis, there's no set fee?
Just as you use it.
Okay,
So, yeah, there's no base fee that you're gonna
Okay.
get billed.
So is this one motion or two?
I would assume you could do it in one, since it's all packaged together here. Unless you wanna make two, then that's probably fine too.
We got thoughts?
Do it in one.
Heather?
Do it one.
I move that we approve the master agreement for professional services with Olson and Associates to include on-call services requested and street superintendent services for 2026.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? Call roll.
Brad,
Yes.
Kent,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Dustin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
That's what everybody wants. So we have begun the transition, I guess, not really. I mean, we haven't seen or felt anything on our end other than it's just data gathering, sending reports, filling out surveys, answering policy questions. So we're trying to get things moving and kicked off with the various entities that we're going to be transitioning to. So Power Manager, Paystar is the credit debit card entity that will, so we can take card payments. When we move forward with Power Manager and go live with Power Manager, we'll switch over to Paystar. Right now, we're using a combination of Nebraska Payport, Forte, which is a credit card company, and G-Works Merchant Pay, and it's been a real pain in the rear end, so it'll be kind of nice to consolidate to
There's a
one.
quote for you.
So far, they've been good to work with. I hope that continues. And then our time management system that we're using is also tied specifically to G-Works, so we have to change that as well. So there's a company called TMS, I think stands for Time Management Systems. Basically does everything that we have now and then some, actually, and it's still going to be cheaper than what we're paying now. So that looks kind of promising, so we're working with them as well. I did get a call from Power Manager. They originally told me January, now they're saying February, which is whatever. G-Works will not do a month-to-month prorate, but they'll do a quarterly prorate. So we're probably going to get stuck
You know, you might be a quarter.
paying maybe for March when we don't need March.
They may come back and tell you it's gonna be March
Well, I was just
anyway.
gonna say, it's probably gonna work out fine, because more than likely, we're not gonna go live till March anyway, so.
Hopefully they don't tell you it's April, then you're gonna hold up.
So
Write that into the contract that they get to pay for your section quarterly.
that's kind of been all of that. RC&D, since we became a member, what was that, last month? Did have a paper shredding event out here in the north parking lot on the 20th, and I helped with that. We had quite a few people, actually. It's funny, everybody rolls in, and it's like paper fury for about 20 minutes, and then
That's it.
That's it, yeah. So no, that was good. I had another legislative committee meeting at the end of October there. Well, I'll have another one here in November, but those ones I can do via Zoom, so I'm gonna have to go to Lincoln. And our audit is set for December 3rd for last fiscal year, so they're working on it already, so I've been sending them stuff, and we've had some back and forth already. So that's kind of been the main crux of it outside of the day-to-day.
Kristen, thank you for that
Yes.
grant on that
Appreciate
pickleball court,
that.
the pool, thank you very much. That was awesome to see that.
Yeah, you have no general funds in that project, it's kind of exciting,
That's awesome.
doesn't happen very often. And I guess when you get closer to bid process, if you need help or whatever it is, let me know, because your first report isn't due until next year, so.
Yeah, it's kind of a one and done.
Fair enough.
You gotta bid that court.
Or-
More than
Well, I guess you
likely.
want to anyway, but,
Because
you
you're
know.
gonna have probably 50 to 60,000 easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, just a quote.
So.
fair enough. Very nice when it's done.
You'll be nice.
Kind of excited.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have that
party,
done.
or pickleball, open house type.
Yeah, ribbon cutting.
Ribbon cutting.
It's on the list as a dog park.
Somebody will have to demonstrate how.
Yeah, that works.
Heather will fill it.
Teach classes.
I was a pickleball champion back in middle
I
school.
want.
They had pickleball way back
She gets one of the
then.
big scissors.
Oh, yeah,
We had the shuttle, what, badminton.
Badminton, yeah, that's what we had.
Yeah, we didn't have anything that would bounce. Hey, before you adjourn, I wanted to give you guys a heads up. Working with the county, we're gonna start phase 2 of the pond project, which is gonna include concrete around where the current gravel trail is, concrete path to the pier, as well as benches at several locations and trees kind of on either side of the bench that'll eventually provide shade. Like, they're gonna start with taller trees. But we're looking at about estimate of $20,000 total project. I think the county has money they're going to put in. There's still a little bit left in the Lions Club account that we had from my dad's estate that can go toward phase 2. But we may apply for the ABC again for a portion of it. I think the county is going to apply to lodging tax, and we may apply for a portion of it from foundation, but it'll be a much smaller request than the initial. And then phase 3 would be paving a parking area and putting a picnic shelter on it. So the county's done a lot of work. They went in, cleared all the weeds, and I apologize, I didn't have the equipment to clear the weeds that got tall in the summer, but Clint Painter did go around and knock everything down. Denny then went in, seeded everything from the water's edge up to and past the trail with a grass mixture that'll kill out those weeds, and he said he's gonna volunteer to just mow it from now on, so it'll stay a lot more,
So that's who's
County owns the
Who's
pond.
ultimately the
Yeah.
maintainer of that?
County owns the ground.
So
It
they'll have
is
to-
basically a county pond, but the county will have to be the applicant for the foundation because the Lions Club can't, but it will probably be the Lions Club that will apply for the ABC portion of it. But like I said, I wouldn't anticipate it being more than maybe 5,000 from each of those entities then that should complete phase 2, which will be nice. That gravel's okay, but you take a step forward and sink a little. So for people that can't get around as easy, and if they wanna go out there with grandkids, having benches and shaded areas
That'd be awesome.
to be around the pond. So that's kind of phase 2, and Denny's kind of helped take on working with that project now too. So but just a heads up, it won't be probably until spring, but just wanted to give you a heads up that we're looking at moving forward on more improvements out there. And then we maybe try to tie in a Game and Parks grant application for the shelter, and maybe have something that connects the pond to the Cowboy Trail. Right now, there's kind of a little already a milled road that would connect it to where the Cowboy Trail meets over there on the other side of the solar panels. But I told Denny, careful on the size of trees so we don't shade the solar panels. But
I know MPPD said they got power close to it, we wanted to put it.
what's that?
MPPD, I talked to them a while back about possibly putting a pole line or something by that ramp.
Oh, gotcha.
And there is power there, kinda close,
Okay. That would be good.
that they would be willing to, yeah.
Okay, excellent, yeah, we can talk about that. Like I said, it'd probably have to be the county that, since it's going up, but that's a good idea. Other than if it attracts bugs during the summer,
I
but,
know that
yeah.
at times there's quite a few kids out there.
there are, sort of,
Fishing.
evening, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
good
what I
to see.
was gonna ask, what about signage for no swimming and all that? And also I was thinking like, with the winter, with fish being in the pond now, ice fishing being a thing, and just kids being uncautionary to the thickness of the ice and accidents and stuff is also my concern. I mean, I am a mother of a child who does like to go fishing out there with his cousins,
Mhm.
so this is more of like my concern as a mom.
Yeah, my plan will be try not to, we'll try to make sure the pond it's holding water very, very well now we went from a solar powered well to to have an MPPD put a line out there and and an electric well because it wasn't keeping up. Well, now I have to run that well maybe 3-4 days a month at the most to keep it full, but yeah. There's a sign out there now, there's signage, that no vehicles beyond this point, no diving off of the pier with
But that's the
shallow
thing,
water.
but it's still like, fine, you can swim, you just
I,
can't dive.
I don't think the county talked about that, and I don't think they ever said anything about deterring if anybody wanted to wade or,
So we can go swimming in the pond then?
I mean, if it's.
Watch out for sharks.
I don't, they talked about that, but they decided not to put any signage
So
out there.
what's to happen if there is an accident that occurs there at the pond?
Well,
Who's
it's.
the liability, county?
It's, so the state has protections for anybody or any entity that has a public fishing, public recreation area. There's state protections for that if they're not grossly negligent, which in this case it wouldn't be, so. Yeah, that was all done before the pond was ever built, the county has protections. Now, of course, anybody can sue for anything, but state statute's very clear. If there's no charge to utilize the pond, then there are protections for recreation.
Swimming pool, very much different.
Yeah, true.
How's the perch coming?
I hope they're a little
Yeah,
bigger.
for
I haven't
non-fishermen,
done
what's the fish like out there?
it. So the bass are getting bigger. This would be the third year, or is it the second year? What is it? I can't go from year to year. This might be the third year that the bass have been in it. And there, I think the bass, started about that big, and I think they're up to, 8-10 inches or more. The perch were 4 to 5 inches when I put those in. I can't remember if it was last November or the November prior. I want to say it might have been last November, so they've had 1 year to grow. And the bluegill were put in at the same time as the bass. Now, we are on the spring trout stocking. We didn't get in on the fall trout stocking, but Denny is basically hell-bent that he's gonna change that to get us in on the fall trout stocking too, for the same reason of wanting kids to be able to ice fish and have the potential to catch some trout through the ice, so.
And regulations, if that's all game and parks,
Yeah,
that's
Game and
that.
Parks,
by
it's gonna be,
whatever
it's,
size you are,
yep,
where
it's
you're
gonna
at.
be, it's
So,
gonna be any,
you don't have to
whatever
worry
Game and
about doing
Parks, cause they're managing the fishery. Yeah, so unless the county wanted to put on heavier restrictions on not wanting a whole ton of fish to be caught out of there and taken,
not
but I
in
don't know
trouble
that, I don't think anybody has suggested that, so. And the trout, the Game and Parks encourages you to take them, if you catch them, to keep them.
So they put some in every year.
Yeah, yeah, and they're like 12-inch plus a lot of times, so.
Yeah, Mo and his little buddies, they get tired of catching fish. Cause usually you don't catch nothing, and they come back here and we're tired of catching fish.
Well, that's a good problem.
Yeah, and within, hopefully another couple of years, there'll be a lot more, there'll be more size to the fish they're catching, so. And that you'll get different sizes as they spawn. And the one thing we did talk about, when it was designed, we put in a couple of kind of rock piles for structure and put in a couple in different spots, big stumps. But you may see if the county decides, we might try to get people that take live Christmas trees, we might try to get a half a dozen or so trees set out there, and then we'll lash them together and anchor them and maybe
Let me know.
sink them into
Yeah.
the
Couple days
deeper,
after.
yeah,
Yeah.
sink them into the deeper part over on the
We
south
usually-
end is the deeper
I
part.
have fresh deal.
Yeah, I think it's,
But yeah, so they
Good
talked
deal.
about doing that, but yeah, just so maybe in the spring you might see an application, because it'll probably be March or April when they'll want to do the work, so might be in, January, we go to the ABC, and hopefully by then, we've got an idea on, what the request would be, but like I said, it'll be much, much less than phase one, obviously, so.
yeah, nice. Fishing. Okay, we'll adjourn the meeting at 6:06.
I'll send that to the mayor. Text him, 6:06, you're not here, we're done in 66 minutes.
That's true.